Alright, so the Victorian's at my door again. The Victorian's right here. Basically, for the unfamiliar, I'm sorry I don't have video editing software on this phone. I need to. Here we go with buying a whole new office. Victorians are beings associated with Bigfoot, and you might have had the situation where you could have swore like Bigfoot had higher intelligence and was addressing me, and was speaking to me like verbally in English or in general. Generally, they're English speakers in their English-speaking countries. But people also have this experience of Yeren in China, quite possibly. I don't know if, frankly, I don't know if some of the Victorians are trying to speak Chinese because I know the legend of Bigfoot's also in China. I don't want to say in Amazonas, too. Really awkward with Amazonas right now. I know the little people of the Amazon want to be the little Pleiadians of the Amazon and not the, here we go with they tolerate Brazilian shamanism. That's just it. They can't force anyone to convert to Catholicism. But they basically have to allow liberal politics to go on. They can't institute like a one-party system here in the U.S. under the Republican Party, as the U.S. hasn't voted for that. Basically, there's actually some Republicans who want to label everybody who isn't a Republican subversive. Like you're all dangerous subversives to not join the Republican Party. You can't even be frustrated with their insane brinksmanship. Or the party. You know, I'm going to cautiously go there with how I feel right now. It's like you're somewhere in the mailbag where you're like, dear Bryant, you know, why the hell haven't you registered Republican yet? I mean, didn't you see how much your insane brinksmanship cost us on the other timeline? Like an entire cigar UFO has to go rogue if you're like, ruh, 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 I'm going over here for how insane this other timeline was. Like, look how insane we were with our brinksmanship, and China went off. China just went off. It's like they have it's like how many I don't know how many nukes they have in that timeline. In this timeline, China's reported to have at least 500 nukes in their global power. I don't want to do how did Russia overshadow them on this, because that makes nuclear diplomacy happen in my mind, and that's really, really intense thoughts and feelings for me and the Victorians. I never felt like Victorians are sitting there like happy to think about Earth being nuked. But I was told by basically certain Navy thinkers have noticed, like beings that associate with Bigfoot that I call Pictorians. They're associated with a star called a Pictor. And they're really, really, really controversial to U.S. Navy thinkers. Really controversial. And when I was receiving telepathic messages from a being I associate with Sirius A this morning, you know, it's what seemed to be the agreement with them, or the consensus with them, is if people are curious about these beings, go meditate in the Sandy Mountains. Why not go like in the springtime, like a nice spring hike in the Sandy Mountains, and try like a peace meditation practice where you sit down and you send out this is what I do every day with Arcturians and other telepathically receptive beings, is like I sit down and I send out like peaceful crown chakra energies to them. And so if Navy thinkers wanted answers about Pictorians, we're like, we don't understand where Pictorians are, where they're from, or we see what's going with fighting the Pictorian threat. You can't, I mean, is my concern. Where is the Pictorian threat? Frankly, I feel like there's this being who's kind of like Bigfoot, more intelligent, addressing me with a Pictorian, but I don't sense the threat. Frankly, if there's a really controversial contactee who has a Pictorian protector, this is awkward. This is really awkward to party politics and Pictorian protectors. I don't want to say what merfolk did and what's just a paranormal phenomenon. This is really awkward right now, where this contactee is allowed their free speech. I use the gender pronoun they in this discussion. Even I'm sorry if that's not their preferred gender pronoun. I think that's allowed. Now, the sad lesson I learned here is that basically not really a sad lesson, but surprising lesson, was it seemed like the being I associate with the Sandy Mountains had to be in charge of what I would call Andromedans. And once you reach like the bigger brain room, like I have a larger cranium than you, Andromedan, they're not taking no for an answer from Andromedans. They're having like Basically, somebody had strange or startling visions about me who was considered a public figure, and people have questions in like my magic mailbag about this. So I kind of need to address it in like a morning address. Basically, I'm worried about people who want to bomb the hell out of the Sandy Mountains. I just want to bomb the hell out of the Sandy Mountains, get them all out there. Because what do you do if the Ponti join the Planet Serpo fleet sometimes and they're interfacing with Planet Serpo's one world government? I don't want to berate Alex Jones fans because natural law is natural law. And the grays associated with the Sandy Mountains are going to allow continued spiritual discussion. Basically, in the US, in China, everywhere in the world. They're not forcing religion on China. They're not forcing people to have religious beliefs in China. But this is awkward with. I mean, public religious displays are going on in China, and some people are tolerating that. I don't know if they can publicly worship Bigfoot in China. I'm not trying to start a cult of Bigfoot, but that's within person's First Amendment right is to worship Bigfoot. I think the Syrian was warning me about Australopithecus with this. Well, what do you do if Bigfoot is found to be genetically similar to Australopithecus? And the Syrians seem to be mentioning to me, well, Australopithecus during some kind of mass event that happened on Earth in the past went into caves. They actually kind of started to speciate in caves. And so to scientists, it has to be possible that Australopithecus continued in caves. And I'm sorry to bring the Choctaw tribe into it. Why do people believe some Native Americans had a war on Bigfoot? I need to look more into that. Pictorians are higher intelligence beings who are around what the Assyrians might term the Bigfoot pod. And so if one Eben has a Bigfoot pod, why are all Ebens guilty? Now, why are all Ebens guilty if one Eben has a Bigfoot pod? No, I'm worried that's about where I am with Navy thinkers. I am. U.S. Navy thinkers. Sorry, U.S. Navy thinkers. I think about you all the time. Basically, Victorians are allowed to protect certain people by the Ponte family of Greys from the Sandy Mountains area of New Mexico, who are basically no hoax put on by Sue Walker. There was also Syrians were also relating to me. There's this really sad timeline where too many service humans died, and frankly, there's more Bigfoot there. And so, if a Ponte from the distant future is having we're looking back, what do you do? What do you do if so many human souls died in nuclear warfare and somebody's just going, I don't know. Your technology is so advanced. You can just I can just upload my soul into like an ape-man body for a while. Like some 2045 initiative thinkers envision. I'm basically not ready. I feel like even if I'm getting slightly older, this body's just fine for me right now. I'm going. I don't know. Victorians are extremely controversial in the Navy. What if they're a magical phenomenon to some people in China though? It's like the way people in Ireland or New Zealand believe in fairy people. Like little people can just like appear. I don't want to go into Potapari's taller counterparts in the Terehu, but if they never tell people to go to China, I'm sorry. Maybe they just like the North Island. And if they never direct rage to any extraterrestrial civilization active in Antarctica, maybe I'm getting off topic. I'm getting off topic here, but that's not in Sue's controversy. It's in my controversies I could address folder. That's all been made public intelligence. As my controversies in Antarctica since 1946, before Sue was. I don't want to do why I'm obsessed with this person. Really, suddenly it's not. Like I'm not too frazzled right now, and I don't feel like the Victorians menacing me. But somebody needs the Andromedans to save us from the Victorians. But why is that? Why do the Andromedans need to save us from the Victorians? Why do the Andromedans need to be like Swedish secret space trooper rolls in here with like blaster cannon and blast the Victorians when Andromedans could have something? Frankly, I'm thinking of a case that predated a tall white contactee called Charles Hall. I don't know if it's called Call Me Charlie to his friends. And I was noticed a similarity features a case where in the 1950s in Austria, some strange spacemen were reported in like a flying saucer where white people appeared with a device like a pencil that could just like paralyze a human being. And so that was the beginning of a Fourth Reich in some minds, where instead of the Third Reich, and Jews were going to be killed for the kind of spiritual. Here we go. Here we go with what did this German believe? What did that German believe? What led to the situation? I don't even want to go there right now, because why wouldn't Andromedans have a device like the paralysis pencil that the human had? It was reported to have in the 1950s, what the tall whites had. The Hyadian fleet can't defeat the Victorians, so people want to look to Victorians as a being with myths and legends. Basically, the Victorian is allowed to make the Bigfoot comfortable in the pods, my understanding from Sirius A Society. I'm going to do take two on this. I'm going to do take two on this when I get home.